Looking around, I was like, there's nothing good. There's nothing that I would put my name. Like, I'm not going to teach these guys on any of this stuff because it's all garbage, you know?
Looking at numbers from pre-CNC expert and pre-building blocks, I've doubled the number of people that have gotten SolidWorks certified as well.
It has revolutionized my class. I mean, I am always preaching about it, talking to other teachers about it.
But put them in front of a CNC for a semester and they're like, look at the chips fly, look at what we made. It's great.
Not a single person has ever done a video saying, I actually did Titans of CNC Academy and failed. Oh man, I'm excited, man, because we got some genuine heroes sitting over here to my right. And
yes, we do.
What's up, Gabe?
What's up?
Josh, how you guys doing, man?
We're good.
Good.
So Van Buren Tech is in the house, and these guys are literal heroes because they're pouring into our kids, teaching them CNC machining, CAD, like from design to CAM programming to full CNC, manual machining, fundamentals, all of it. And you guys are doing it legit. Legit.
Thank you.
Michigan in the house.
It is. I love it too. Gabe literally posts daily
I know.
on our CNC Experts Facebook, everything, all the kids that are getting their certs, approved and parts done.
And that's what I love. I love when you post and you just see these kids, man, and they got their big smiles and
Big
they're
smiles.
like they got like their CAD cert because they designed the part, or they have their CAM and CNC certs. And just taking a part from like conception to a finished part that you hold in your hands, and it's like they're making chips, man.
Yeah.
It's super good.
It's really neat because when the students see industry professionals from all over comment on their posts, and good job, and supportive, and it's really neat. They really
good.
take notice.
Super good.
What
man.
is the range of kids that you guys teach? Where is it? Is it high school through JC or?
No, so we're at Van Buren Tech.
Yep.
It's a countywide career technical education center.
Excellent.
CTE. And we teach 11th and 12th graders.
11th and 12th.
Yep.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it's went before or after that. And then once they get done 11 and 12, that will cover the entire curriculum?
Yes.
You can go through the entire building blocks in that period? Or is
Yeah.
there another level that you go once they've completed that?
So what I'm shooting for is in their first year
Yep.
to get through the building blocks,
Okay.
1 through 10. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't, depending on how everything falls out.
Yep.
Then their senior year, this year we instituted starting to work on the fixture series.
Nice.
And so we're working through that. And then, or they go on to co-op. So they go out to local industry, and 4 days a week they're out in industry, and then they come back on the 5th day.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Super good, man.
Right?
And you already have your fixture series, the kit. I think
Yes,
I brought it up
yep.
last time when I came up,
Yep.
right?
Yep. We
Oh,
got
man.
the kit. Yep.
With all the Kennametal tools.
all the Kennametal tools.
Oh, man.
Let it roll.
You got a shunk vise. So we had a bunch of our friends, our partners, actually give some love to you guys. And, I did a little video up there, and just all the kids unboxing everything.
So
and
great.
They had, that's the problem, like, right? Everybody wants to say, hey, we sponsor schools, and we love to, like, give back to schools and help the machining programs and stuff. And yet you go into these programs and they have high-speed
Nothing.
steel tools.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right,
They're
exactly.
running, like, just,
Seen
like,
it.
old stuff and things that, like, shops don't want anymore and stuff. And you guys actually had a real legit place, but when it came to like the tooling, you guys were running high-speed steel.
Yeah.
So it's like when you get into the real world and you're making money, you need to run carbide and stuff. So I was super proud of Kennametal stepping up and just throwing you guys like Core 5s and Harveys and TEs and just everything just to help support you and your kids. And super good, man. Right on Kennametal for doing that.
Yeah,
so,
it's amazing.
Heck
Thank you.
yeah. And even Mitchell
Yeah,
you guys some
Mitutoyo.
super legit inspection tools.
So for tours, to try to impress upon people that are touring through, like what we cut, what the students are cutting, we have the Mitutoyo mic set out. And I
Nice.
always have, I have a little a hair in the case. So then I mic the hair, and I'm like, these students are cutting within a third of a hair thickness.
Heck yeah.
This is what it is, and showing them, and you just see people's eyes light up like, oh, that's what they're doing.
That's all.
And
So
high schoolers
my
are doing
head's
that.
still stuck on like how you have a hair inside your thing, and like how do you find it? You know what I
It
mean?
wasn't
I
for
mean,
me.
like
right.
It works for getting it across to the visitors. It's great.
Like
Yeah,
this is how
super good.
close a tolerance
is how
we're
it-
working with.
0.003,
Yeah.
same as a piece of paper.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super good, man. And
It's
then that's
awesome.
the tolerances right there. It's like plus that, minus that, and every dimension has to be that.
Right.
Boom.
Isn't
Super
that
good.
great?
And then so you, Gabe, you've been working the Titans of CNC curriculum for years. Like how many years?
So 2016, 2015, we stumbled across the TV show and the YouTube videos, and finally, back then, what was there showing machining? There was, you'd see like a glimmer of it in American Hot Rod or Orange County Choppers. They might hit it a little bit.
Yeah.
But then finally we had videos that were, you were highlighting it majorly what we do. And that was just awesome.
And
And
legit
then-
parts.
Right. And seeing it just rip. So then the Academy came out and we're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I started doing it. And that first year I did it wrong, where I told the students, I'm like, I don't know, pick a part.
Yeah,
And
I
some
remember
picked
you telling me
10,
that.
1, 5, 6, all over the board. That's the wrong way to do it. It should go in series. And then the next year, I flipped the class. So it was CNC first, drawing and programming right off the bat. And then would backfeed the manual stuff.
Good
Love
stuff.
it.
And
I
that
love
was really important, because if you tell especially nowadays, that was a while ago, but nowadays it's an instant generation. If you have students and you say, well, you're going to work on the manuals until you graduate up to the CNC, I found with my students, they would get bored or etc.
Yep.
So now we kind of hop back and forth. And then that allows, because I don't have a lot of CNCs, it allows students to always have something to do.
Yeah. And I love
Super
that.
good.
There's so many people. So I sold to a ton of education out in Northern California and Nevada. And you're right. You've got to grab them first. And grabbing them is not putting them on a manual machine. But there is that thought that they have to understand what that manual is, feeding that part through a tool, through a cutter, and understanding that feel and sound. It's part of it. It's great to have that experience, but to jump right into the manual side. And I've got guys that, they would start the manual curriculum and they'd go, oh yeah, they're going to be in that for a semester. And the kids are just like slapped, like, I don't want to do this, but put them in front of a CNC for a semester and they're like, look at the chips fly. Look at what we made. It's great. Good call. I love that.
I like you're giving them that understanding, but people always tell me like, no, you cannot give them the feel without, being on a manual machine. And I always disagree. I'm like, I could be anywhere in the shop and then hear that spindle and know exactly where we're at. I can hear the vibration of the sheet metal on the machine tool and know where we're at and know exactly where to put it. And you can touch the machine and understand. When you're feeding, you're going so slow. It's not realistic to an actual real cut where you're making legit money. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that, you can kind of go both ways. And these kids are growing up on cell phones, on computers, on everything. It comes natural to them. So what you're doing, I actually love the fact that you're actually introducing them to, the design, and then they're programming it, and they know exactly what they're doing because they're picking the holes to actually drill. They're picking their peck. They're picking the service foot and the chip load. They're picking everything. And then it's like, okay, let's just go now set up the CNC and then zero everything out and dry run it and go through everything you just did on the computer. You do it right here on the machine, and it makes perfect sense. But then later on, it's like, go on a manual machine and feel the cut and see it, and then see how lucky you are that you have a CNC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's really neat because
It is true.
I'll actually be teaching manual principles based off of, what they've learned already on the CNC. So,
But what is a manual principle?
well, I ask them, I'm like, well, can you dynamic on a manual?
Yeah.
And you got to take a different approach. And they'll see where, we actually draw Titan 1, Titan 2, program it, cut it, and then I have them make Titan 2M on the manual mill.
Wow.
And where it only takes 4 minutes to run on the CNC, then they see that it takes a week of learning those processes and doing it on a manual machine that really opens their eyes.
And think about it. Go back to like the 60s, right? 50s and 60s, and you had all these tool and die makers, all these, machinists around the world, and that's all they did. We didn't have it,
And they made incredible parts.
They made insane
Look at these
parts.
ships that were being built, like 100 years ago.
It's a testament to the old school.
It's crazy. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm picking on Gabe over here, but we're actually good friends. We talk a lot, and I love his program and stuff, and I'm proud to have him on here and stuff. But when I say when it comes to manual, I just see it as the same. Like you learn sign plates, you learn how to stone tables, you learn how to file, you do all these things, but you do the same thing with CNCs. You do the same stuff. You're indicating everything. You're indicating in holes. You're putting vices on, and you're stoning the tables, and then locking them in, and indicating and everything. And the cut is the cut, like you said. Like you can still do them. You know what I mean? But it's like
takes forever.
Yeah. Doing a perfect circle ain't easy unless you're on a lathe,
That's very true.
But the whole point is just, are we trying to make these kids like come out of school and actually get great jobs where they can actually make great money, or are you trying to teach them something where they only get a certain ways, and then nobody will hire them for $16 an hour because they just don't know enough?
And that's one of the things that through my advisory committee, they would say, well, they're hiring them for a CNC position,
right?
But yet sometimes they would say, well, I still want them to learn the manual. Well, it's like, well, I only have so much time.
Right.
Yeah.
If their end goal is the job of CNC, that's why we wanted to flip it. And I went back and forth. There was different years where, I swung all CNC and then very little, but then some of my advisory committees are still manual shops, so they needed that. So that's my constituents. That's what I'm making a product or teaching the students the skills, and that's my product, right? So I still need to hit those things and being able to teach the manuals machine still. So we've found a nice balance of back and forth, I think.
So to be a good question then, I mean, you could see it firsthand. What do the kids respond to in terms of, like, they love the CNC, I'm sure, but are there people that go, oh my God, I totally like this side of it?
And that's the wildest thing is after a while, the students will actually be like, oh yeah, that's not a problem. I like CNC, but I really like turning handles themselves. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, there's an opportunity for you here.
Yeah.
These shops would be good for that.
Yep.
Or these shops would be good for CNC.
I had a good friend back in Sacramento, Jordan Hart. He was a super, super talented guy. Came out of school, 5-axis guy, and he kind of had to spread his wings. He was in this one shop for a while, and I told him, I said, to learn more about the trade, you're going to have to, go and entertain other avenues and go into other shops, right? The more you learn from other shops and other people that you work under, the more you just build your resume up. And so long story short, he went to the Bay Area, went to work for Tesla, or interviewed, didn't go to work for. And in the interview process, they asked him, well, why would you come here and, run only CNC? What if we had to put you in front of a manual machine? And Jordan goes, why would you put me in front of a manual machine? You're Tesla. Like, you shouldn't even have a manual machine. Like one of those. And it's true to a certain extent. There's always that, I got to add this hole, or, I got to do this second op, or this quick operation that rather than go program it, let me just do it on the manual mill real quick. So it is good to have that background, but I like that the kids still are into that. Yeah. They don't need it per se, but the fact that they have it, people are going to ask them if they're in a shop, hey, do you know how to run that mill?
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
100%. So you and I have talked for a long time and for years and stuff, and I love the program. And then I came up and I actually visited, and I noticed that right next to you was Josh's class. And so you actually teach SolidWorks, and now you're doing the building blocks and stuff also. So it kind of like goes from your place over to actually getting the parts manufactured.
Correct.
And you're doing 3D printing and stuff too. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
Yeah, so we start out, they do some basic parts. We do 2D drawings. We do some basic 3D. And then
all in SolidWorks?
All in SolidWorks.
Nice.
And then we jump into the building blocks.
Awesome.
I usually give them the first 3 parts as prints. They don't even know there's videos.
Yeah.
And see how they do.
Just see where they're at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of get a threshold, and then they finish those. We check them. We go through, see how they're looking, upload them to CNC Expert, and then we start on the more advanced parts.
Fantastic.
And so at that point, on 4, 5, and 6, I give them the videos. I say, here's the videos. I'll always get a kid or 1 or 2 that needs some extra help, that needs to go back and maybe see how to do something again. So they take advantage of the videos. And then we go from there. We get to 7, 8, 9, 10, and they're rocking those parts out. We do the rocket parts. I've had a few kids do the chest set.
Nice.
Excellent.
Super good. And then do they sometimes, because there's, how they say, more ways to skin a cat, right? You know what I mean? So do you sometimes see like, oh, we usually go this route, but they went this route and it comes out to the same thing, but do you see little differences or is it pretty similar?
Oh yeah. I'll look at, their feature tree and I'm like, well, that's not how I would have done it, but you got the exact same thing. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So how is Titans of CNC, how's the Academy? It's just helped you with as far as the videos and stuff like that. And now CNC Expert, right?
Yep. Yeah, so it's been a wonderful tool. I've got one kid that's out on co-op right now. He's a second-year student, was able to show off all of his CNC certifications. And then he was also able to pass the CSWA and CSWP last year.
That's awesome.
And so,
congratulations.
Yeah,
thanks.
Good stuff.
I've got, looking at numbers from CNC Expert and pre-building blocks, I've doubled the number of people that have gotten SolidWorks certified as well.
Wow. That's awesome.
Pretty awesome.
So
it's like automated almost.
Mm-hmm.
Because it takes a lot off your shoulders too. Mm-hmm. Because you're not having to like just...
Yeah, good call.
Just, you know what I mean? You can be like, oh, here's the video. Here's all the documentation. Boom, boom, boom. Go.
Yep. It worked perfect. My first year that I was in the position, I had COVID, was out for 2 weeks. No idea what to do. So I assigned them the building blocks parts that year.
Awesome.
And so they did that. They had, Billy Boyce was giving them the instruction while I was gone.
CAD boost.
Love it. Love it.
So good.
How many students do you guys put through the program then annually? Like when you go through a full year, how many kids can sign up for the program and how many can you handle?
Yeah. So my class has a 18 max.
18
we have
max.
a 2.5-hour block in the AM and then the PM.
Got it.
And then,
Yeah, in my class, we've got 24 max.
Okay.
But I also split time between architecture. So
Okay.
one class right now is 3/4 engineering students.
Got it.
And then the other class is about the opposite.
Interesting. Good. So when these guys start drawing, you get them right into it. Like, do they pick? Because kids, like you said, these days, they're born with a computer in their hand. I mean, do they pick up the drawing like right off the bat? Is it easy for them to design?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. God,
And
that's amazing.
Usually it's the second, third day we get in and we start in SolidWorks.
Second or
And
third day.
They're making some basic parts and we're hitting the ground running.
Good stuff.
We'll have some students that they're like, oh my gosh, SolidWorks is not for me.
Yeah.
And they end up heading to architecture.
Got it. Yeah. And your program, the success of it, right, too?
Yeah.
I mean, these kids are leaving the program and entering industry.
Yeah.
And you actually you call them co-ops, right?
Yeah, cooperative learning.
Yeah.
So 4 days a week they'll go out to the workforce, work at a local shop, and then the 5th day they come back, check in. If they have any questions of anything that they've seen in the shop.
So similar like an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Like you see in Europe.
Yeah.
Just a little bit different on the hours.
Right.
So they're working at a real shop. They're getting educated at the same time, same week, back and forth.
Yep.
What do you notice from the shops? Do you feel like that the teaching from the people in the shop is well received? Like they're into saying, hey, let's help this kid? Or is there a little bit of a kind of, oh, this is a young kid, he doesn't know much, we'll just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing. And
there's it's really neat to see the students go out into industry.
Yeah.
And they're really surprise the employers. They're, whoa, okay, this kid does know what they're talking about.
Wow.
Because the students are, for me, they're drawing in Mastercam, they're programming in Mastercam. Then when they go to a Mastercam shop, it's easy transition right in.
That's so great.
One of the things that I loved is a long time ago, I was talking about, like the whole concept with CNC Expert is I don't want to see a resume. I want to see an actual part.
Yep.
If I'm hiring for a programmer for 5-axis, don't tell me you have 5 years.
Yeah.
Show me what have you actually made. Like, I'm not
Agreed.
going to show anybody. Just show me what you've made, and then I judge based on the complexity, the tolerances, and then the materials. And then as the materials get harder and more complex, and the work holding and all that, it shows me your money keeps going up, right? So,
Great call.
I'm always like, just like, I've been pushing that for years. It's like, show me what you can actually make. And then I go to these schools and I get so disappointed because, like, again, teachers are all heroes, but they're making like a little rectangle with some holes in it. And then because the directors and the teachers and parents are so amazed that, oh, you're running a CNC machine, they have no concept of how there are levels to the game, and they're on such a bottom level, and they could easily rise up and stuff. And that's been the push and stuff. But I've been like really pushing it. One of the first things that I forget if I came out with a video or I was just talking about it on Academy, but I came out and I just said, look, one of the best things you can do is actually get like a briefcase with foam and do cutouts and actually put all your parts and then take that as a resume. I think we made one, and then I featured it, and I said, take this to the employer, pull out your parts, show them the surface finishes, talk about, the programming techniques, how you solve problems and did different things. And a lot of people, they'll watch it and like not think about it. Gabe went out and actually bought a bunch of these briefcases and actually had the students actually cut out the foam. So when I went up there, they all had them, and they all had their little case, and they had their parts.
Is that?
Is what I did. And the employers were like literally losing their mind. They were like, "You made these? This is crazy."
The one specific one that I really always reference, he comes in and he has his briefcase down here, and I could see you've done some cutting. Yep. Would you like to see some of my work? And opens it up, and the employer's just like, whoa, okay. And they start picking up the parts, looking at the finishes, looking at the parts, and hey, look at this, and it's just really awesome. They actually left the interview, came back in with another person. Look at this.
Oh man,
so
that's great.
Yeah, it's been
super good.
Been great.
Well, I think the first time we met, you had came down for that open house that we did for the training for inspection.
Right.
And I think you there was a customer from your area that came down that had hired 2 of your students.
Yes.
And I remember him absolutely saying the same thing. They brought in their boxes. They showed me what they did. And he was excited just telling the story. And I'm thinking, like,
and he doesn't want to hire anybody else.
No.
Yeah.
But Gabe's students.
Look at this. These
Gabe and
kids are
Josh's.
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. So great.
Super good.
Love it.
I just love that you take it and put it into practice, and that's why I just, every time I see your posts, I like resharing it and all of it, man.
Well,
super good.
It has revolutionized my class. I mean, I am always preaching about it, talking to other teachers about it. We have 43 machine tool programs in the state of Michigan, and I'm always concerned that I'm going to, just badger them with it, but it has been amazing. Before the academy, I was always machine vice and 1, 2, 3 blocks and things like that, which are good tools to have and be able to make your own tools. That's awesome, but it just shows a real life part that you can highlight your skills, and each one builds on the next. So it's been amazing.
And that build is by design, because it's like making SpaceX parts and making all these subsea parts and looking at all the stuff and looking at the complex things. When we were designing those, I was really like thinking like what is basic? What is basic? You know what I mean? Is taking a shell mill, cutting the top, profiling it, making pockets, drilling holes, making threads and stuff. But like from there, what do you need? Let's add in a key cutter. Let's do islands and mirror things and like let's do 3D and so many people they don't even know how to like do 3D milling and stuff, and it's like you got the kids doing it, then it's like let's make crazy shapes and then have to flip them over and put them in soft jaws and hold them and do these things. And I think the CAD is like a huge thing. The CAD is a huge thing too, because it's like it gets so complex, but when you actually spend the time to draw the parts and you come off of dimensions and a print, then the student, by the time he goes to CAM, he knows the parts so intimately. And I just think that that's the magic right there, because they're comfortable. You know, and by the time they program it, then they go to a CNC, and instead of scaring them, it's just like, no, here's a list of things you got to go through, and you're just going to duplicate it, and it works.
And that's one thing that, you know, because they're so they raised up on technology. If you hold off, and what I found is you actually build fear into them. If you're like, oh yeah, that's the CNC over there. Oh, that's expensive. You don't want to crash over there, right? Which you don't, right? But if you get them right
teaching
into
with
it,
fear, you're teaching them fear. Yeah.
If you teach right into it, and hey, you've gone through your checklist, you've seen the verify, you've seen where your tool is going to go.
You're good.
You ease into it. You slow it right down, and then start listening. You know,
listening.
Yeah, listening and watching, and it's really cool. They get it done, and it's great.
But that's what's good about with your energy. And I remember meeting you, like I was saying, you know, I sold a lot of machines up in Northern California, Nevada, and it was like you said, oh, they'd make a bottle cap opener, or they'd do something. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about the program, but they're not teaching the kids what they need. When you have kids going straight from your class to industry, you know you're doing something right. You know you've gone down the path of, we want these kids to excel and be successful at what they're doing. And you can't do that by, I mean, you could come up with your curriculum, but if you can't hit all the facets of what we do in manufacturing and how we machine parts in the industry, then they're not going to be successful when they leave.
And one of the problems that I saw when we were doing the TV show, I was doing a TV show not to be on TV. I was making more money making crazy parts for big companies, you know. So it's like, every time I'd go out and try to bring awareness by creating this TV show and showing manufacturing on a high level, I would see fault like in the shops that I was going to, like millions of dollars, like crazy, like billion-dollar companies. And then, man, I want to showcase this stuff, and yet they're on such a low level. They're running so slow, or the setup is just not sound or something. So I'd always see like, man, there's a problem. But then you go to the schools and you see the schools and you're like, man, they're just not teaching like, and they're not making enough parts. You need to make parts and then make another one and make another one, so that they understand the process, not just like one part and you finish that. Now we're gonna go do something completely different, with a complete different thought. Like, how do you learn? You learn through repetition and learn that stuff.
About Titan 3 to 5 in that realm. The students are running parts on their own.
They get the process.
They get that process, and I'll still do a double check, you know, because we're learning. I'll do a double check, but then, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they're almost, and by 10 for sure, they're just flying,
rolling.
You know.
Well, that's the thing too with CAD. They're sitting there with these basic parts, doing the basic shapes and profiles and chamfers. They start building those skills by the time they're, you know, to the aerospace parts, because I use those as extra really hard parts. They've got to go in, they've got to
ISO grid,
they've got to get the models, and they've got to take measurements off of them. They're able to do all that on their own.
So great.
Super good.
It's been awesome with all the other teachers in the state. They're starting to get into Titans, and one teacher from Lakeshore High School, he actually said, he goes, I have never cut this many parts or this many chips in a year. The students are just ripping.
I love how Michigan is just like all about it, and now it's on the CTE website. Now it's like,
so the state of Michigan went through a review process, CPG grant, where the federal government, Perkins 5, said we need to have credentials tied to every CTE program, and other states, they said, oh, machining, and you will use this credential. Michigan was really cool. They convened a committee of instructors from all over the state. They then surveyed industry, saying what credentials do you value, which would help a student either get hired or advance. And then from there, the teachers talked, what curriculums do you use, what credentials do you use, and I'm like, oh, I know about CNC and CNC Expert. And so I shared that, and we have some other options too. But the biggest thing is, at the end of the day, the credentials that you can choose from, the teachers have a choice in what they use. So it's been awesome. And
And so now this is a state standard.
So this state of Michigan, to satisfy the credential requirement, we can use Titans of CNC Expert.
Great.
So Titans 1 through 4, the CAM and the CNC cert, you get those certifications, and then you have a credential for Titans of CNC Mill 1.
That's awesome.
Mill 2,
super
and then Mill
proud.
3.
You know, I was gonna say earlier, like I don't like beating up on people, but greatest country in the world. Like our country was founded on manufacturing, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
we manufactured it and stuff, and I just love that now Michigan is like just so about Titans of CNC and the academy and stuff. And again, we give everything for free. We're not making money off it.
Right.
We're giving it all for free. But it's like I just love that Michigan is almost like Detroit, known for like outsourcing all the jobs, and now it's like the academy is just really building over there and super good. But what I saw, one was super sad, was like it's super political, right? When it comes to education,
100%.
because the only people that can pay for education are companies trying to sell something, and then that company that's trying to sell something, they're biased and they're like, no, you can only use this on our stuff. So like when you actually really looked at like CNC curriculum, when I was doing like the San Quentin, I didn't want to make curriculum.
Right.
But when I started looking around, I was like, there's nothing good. Nope. There's nothing that I would put my name. Like I'm not going to teach these guys on any of this stuff because it's all garbage, you know? So for us, it was just like, you know what? I'm going to actually build our own curriculum, teach it legit skills with crazy techniques and do all this, and wasn't even thinking about the academy. And then it was like, you know what? Let's just open source it, give it to everybody for free. And that was the start, you know? So
Bingo.
Yeah.
Absolute. And other states should take notice. Come on. California, Nevada, everybody else. It is a great, great curriculum. And if you're not using it, you're not building your kids up for success by any means.
Right. And I've talked to teachers, South Carolina,
you're
Oregon,
a big cheerleader.
Oregon.
Big cheerleader.
He's teaching all these guys.
Missouri, Utah, all over, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I've
And
talked
a
to
lot of
a
them,
rock star.
a lot of them actually use our curriculum and pass everything they need to by default because they're using our curriculum. They're learning how to make all these different parts and stuff. So by the time they come over to what they need to know how to do, it's just super easy because they just know how to do it.
They're in.
You know what I mean? Kind of, like I say, it's almost by default, you know.
I love
but it's sad that they have to do both.
Yeah,
you know?
right, exactly. But I love the story. I remember when you first started, you had a kid come in and you're like, you hadn't done the curriculum long enough yet. Oh yeah, just you want to do 10? Go do 10. They can't, right?
Well, it took a lot of, well, let's try this. And, let's try that. And because you know that 10 that we did that first year, we did the top side that's angled first.
Okay.
And then when we flipped it over, like,
how we can hold that?
Yeah, there's nothing flat underneath it, so we had to indicate it flat.
Oh, it's funny.
Mess with that.
Yeah.
But then you, as you go through it, you realize that everything is taught in 9 for all those 3D moves to actually make that angle on a regular 3-axis. And that's why a lot of people, when they say, oh, I can't figure out the 10, it's like, because you didn't do the 9.
Yeah.
I'm not going to teach you over and over, teach you the same thing on every single part. We're going to teach you and just let you build and build and build. But then it's like, well, we're teaching it how you would do it in the real world.
Right. There you go.
To make money.
I have learned so much. I mean, I had not run at those speeds. I had not run, industry parts like that before.
Right.
And I mean, when we first started, I made my tutorials in Mastercam myself because we were with Fusion, and so I made my own. And then I was so happy when it switched to Mastercam. That was great. But then when you guys came out with it, you did it a lot more proficient. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that. And, so it was great to learn other operations. And
a lot of, you go from manual machining where you're going 5 inches a minute, right?
Yeah.
You're just going through, maybe sometimes faster, it just depends on the cut and stuff. They're going to CNC, and then a lot of these guys, they're running at 15 inches a minute, 20 inches a minute, right? And you're running like the building blocks and stuff Well, you're roughing at what now?
It's 9,500 RPMs, 4,000 chip load, 1/8" radial, and it's like 150 inches
Hell,
per
150
minute.
inches a minute.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Get after it, Gabe.
string of chips flying out. It's great.
Feathering them. Just feathering them.
Well, and that's the thing is, it takes a half hour to draw it, hour to program it, and then their part's done in 4 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're excited.
Yeah.
Because when you're spraying chips on the glass and it's like, "Brrr," then the kids are like, yes.
Yeah.
It's so
exactly.
good.
Yeah.
And oh, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna ask. When you see that, that's what I would say the same thing. When you see chips fly, that's what gets the kids going. Like I would
exactly.
tell these guys back when I was selling them machines at the schools, like you gotta get these kids excited. Even if it's like I would always say, you don't have a curriculum, but come up with like a skateboard part, a part that's on their bike. Design it, develop it, so they can relate to something that they ride to school or they use for recreation. They go skateboarding. Give them something that's tangible that they know.
So when we first programmed,
Cut some chips.
because a lot of I looked at schools and I looked at the machines that they were buying, and it was like kind of like 4,000 RPMs and up.
Yep.
So then we actually kind of went off of that and said, okay, we're gonna actually program everything at like 25 inches a minute, and then we're gonna actually bring other videos to show how you can actually go faster and increase everything and stuff. But I love what and part of it is Kennametal tooling, right? Because you got the right tooling and stuff like that
Always.
that actually cuts it like butter and stuff. But by going 150 inches a minute, and I told you, like with a different machine, you literally could just like, just make it go 300 and 400 inches a minute, and it would do it no problem, But in the real world, what you want to do is you want to set the kids up for success, and you find success by solving problems, and you solve problems in a machine shop if you're a programmer and a machinist, by actually making parts efficiently in a lower amount of money, hitting every tolerance and delivering on time, right? So by somebody else going 30 inches a minute, then going to 60, and you're running at 150 inches a minute, and your MRR is greater because they're taking deeper cuts and stuff, then it's like at 4 minutes you're finishing a part that somebody else is taking 12 minutes, and there's money involved, so you're actually able to make money and make a company money, and therefore you deserve more money, and that's the name. The only reason I'm here doing everything that I do is I figured out how to actually make money by saving money for my customers.
There you go.
And that's what you got to do.
Absolute.
And it's just really awesome to see how it will, it helps CAD. It works through us. Teachers all over the state are getting into it.
Love it.
And it's really great.
Yeah, we need it.
So you've done actual videos on CNC Expert and stuff too, So can you like in just like a few minutes, can you just explain for those that don't know what CNC Expert is? Can you just explain what CNC Expert is?
All right. So CNC Expert, I look at it as LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Indeed, all rolled into one.
Yep. I agree.
Students can highlight their parts, make and develop their profile, highlight theirs and get certifications through the platform. They can see what all other parts are around the world.
Yep.
They can
By legit machinists and machine
right.
shops.
I mean,
Yep.
just amazing parts. South Africa, England, Australia, all over, right? The U.S. all over, and students are seeing that, and it's really neat because in class, where before they might be off task, on YouTube or something like that.
Sure.
Well, now they're looking at that, and I walk up and they're like, oh, sorry. It's like, no, that's fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Go
Keep
ahead,
looking at parts.
Yeah, keep looking at it because they see all these parts and they see that, oh, okay, there's anything. You can machine anything. You can go anywhere if you want to move. I mean, we're in Michigan. It's a great state, but some people don't like the winters.
Yeah.
So
Go down to Florida.
We had
Over to California.
We had a student last year somebody reached out to us on LinkedIn because they saw the kid's profile on CNC Expert.
Very nice.
Trying to get him to come down to Florida.
Right.
Very
awesome.
good. Very good. Yeah, we had Spela from Halter was here last week, and she's from Slovenia, and then they're in the Netherlands. And we're like, yeah, check out CNC Expert. And we clicked Slovenia. There was a boatload of people, posting parts. We clicked the Netherlands, boatloads of people. So it's everywhere. It's global.
everywhere.
It's global.
What's nice from the teacher side, too, is you click on the Get Certified, you look at that part, and it's got a list of all the skills that those kids demonstrated with that one part.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Super good.
The standards are all there.
So they get certified, they drop in, and they drop into a pool of industry. So machinists and machine shops can actually see these students and all of their parts and stuff.
Right.
So people can just hire them right there.
Yeah, and the students are uploading their resumes, and on their resumes, on every CNC Expert profile, you get a QR code. So then they'll copy that QR code, put it on their resume. They can upload that. They can put in not only their Titans certs, but if they were to get any other certs, they can upload that.
Yeah, we do our SolidWorks certifications. We upload those so that the kids can show off those skills as well.
Right.
So great.
So you can put all of it, no matter what, in as many different resumes and certifications from all these different places. You can just put them all right there.
Yeah.
I think
Plus have the actual parts.
I think I got a great question. I got a great question because literally people are going to listen to this and they're going to go, okay, so I've got a program. Let's say I want to scrap it tomorrow. What does a teacher in California, Nevada say? Okay, I'm going to start next semester with Titans. What do they have to do? And is it something that is like I could do this tomorrow and just push go, or is it a little bit of a level to get there?
I think you can, start yourself, get right into it,
Right.
Get after it.
It's that simple.
Because there's videos attached to everything. So for the teachers, is actually, you don't even have to really know CNC. You have to be able to keep the students safe.
There
right?
you go.
And keep an eye on them and provide the right tools and stuff. But they learn from the video exactly what to do. So the teacher can, before he even starts with the kids, can learn himself and take in all that knowledge,
Right, and that was in my case. I'll own it. Right off the bat, I was like, I was nervous on the CNC back then. I was nervous to get in there and get going that fast. And then all of a sudden, okay, so I'm learning. Okay, cool. And I really tried to embrace that with the kids of I don't know, let's do what they say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go after it. And once you share that with the students and they're like, oh, okay, we're learning together. And then you start getting it, and you're just excited and geeked about it. And it's
so
awesome.
Good. And I always say that, we have millions of people that follow us, right, to subscribe.
Yep.
And we have tens and tens of millions that watch our content.
Yep.
And it's there's a lot of people that basically are making videos and they would love to get more popular, right?
100%.
Not a single person has ever done a video saying, I actually did Titans of CNC Academy
and failed.
And we have two I think it's closer to 300,000 people on that academy. So, and failed.
Yeah,
or
never.
crashed the machine.
Nope.
We actually did the videos and crashed the machine. It's never been done, but somebody could get very popular and have a lot of views if
guaranteed.
they actually said that they failed because of our curriculum. So I think that states it for itself. Right?
And I talk to him every day. I've been so busy. I've missed a couple podcasts here because I've been so nutty.
You're retired, man.
With the I will tell you this. So since we left, we started our first video. I think it came out January 8th. So January 8th, what's today? February 12th. Okay, so January 8th to February 12th, we have 270 leads for people asking for machine information. It is crazy. So
awesome.
I tell him, I can't get on the podcast anymore. I am on my phone all day, on the computer, sending quotes, getting things done. It's crazy.
One of the things I say, though, is I think that, we're sitting in front of the Syils right now and selling them, and it's great. It's great. And we're using that money to actually fund making curriculum to give to the teachers and stuff. And Gabe will tell you, it's been 2015, 16. You've been you've been on the academy since 2016, something like that.
Right.
And have I ever asked you for a dime?
Nope.
Has anything ever cost you money?
No.
It's 100% free. So we have to figure out how do you actually solve a problem for our country and other countries and education, and part of it is distribution and stuff. And people were like kind of like tripping out like, oh, that thing is like assembled in China and stuff, with Swiss parts, German parts, parts, the best parts all over. But one of the things is like, teachers don't have a huge amount of money. Programs don't have a huge amount of money. Machinists that work at shops that want to start their own companies don't have enough money. So we looked at it and we said, you know what, this is the best machine. It starts at like 30 grand and you can option it up. And then it's like, it starts at 30 grand, but for 30 grand, instead of buying a car, you can own a machine that you can start a business with, that schools can buy. Instead of buying one machine, they can buy 4 machines that are legit. And we just saw this as something that is super important for our industry, because more machinists will be developed because of the machines.
Agreed.
And there's nothing like it.
And I get to talk to them like every day now. Like I tell the guys around the shop, I'm like, if you guys just got to hear the conversations I'm having, because it is people that are from industry, but they have a side gig at home, or they're at a shop and they're not happy with their current vendor or the service they're getting from it. Let's drop one of these on the floor. And when you start talking about how this thing is put together, I mean, Schneeberger, like you said, granite epoxy castings, the best components from around the world. One of the better things that I've heard in the last month since we've taken this on, there was a gentleman out of Germany that's been selling it for about 3 years in Germany. He reached out, he goes, Keith, we have a home run with this machine. He goes, I've been selling this for like 3 years. It is a fantastic product. So all of the resources that are out there that support this are fantastic. And I am telling you, being in this industry 30 years, it is a fantastic machine. Yeah. Well done.
By the time this video comes out, I would have already put out a video. So the first part that I actually machined that's coming out tomorrow is actually people are asking like, what are you gonna run on your first part? What are you gonna run? And I'm like, you think I'm gonna run aluminum? You think I'm gonna run steel?
That's what I thought.
We're gonna go. What is one of the hardest materials that these big aerospace companies run? And then it's Monel K500, man, and crazy nickel content, copper content, and
not easy to cut.
Part right in that machine right there is cut on a Syil, beautiful, using Mastercam and Kennametal tools, and it's beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Go drills and Harveys.
Go to the top, baby.
That's it.
I'm not saying anybody else should do it. You know what I mean? Because you got to know the ingredients. It's a cookbook, you know. But at the same time, we did it. We had success, and now we're going to show steel parts and aluminum parts and all kinds of things, and hit crazy. Oh, the surface finish. Did you see that surface finish?
Finish is great. It's like, insane.
Kiss the baby, man.
Come on,
kiss the baby.
Let's go.
Anyway, nice plug for the Syils right there. But again, it's an affordable machine that actually works and helps build machinists so we can actually manufacture more in our country.
And just one last thing on that, you know, a lot of guys, they reach out and they're like, hey, can I get this in my garage? It is like it comes off the pallet at 80 inches. So every garage, 83, 84 inch header. So you can get it in the garage, the X5 and X7, get to the X9, 11. Those aren't going to happen. But you could take this off the pallet, put it right in the garage. If you've got single phase, you can get a phase converter to convert to 3-phase. There is endless possibilities if you do want one of these for the garage. And if you want one for industry in the shop, you will be amazed at the way this thing cuts.
Yeah.
It's
and
amazing.
you can hit that website right there, titansofcnc.com, and you'll see Syil right there. You can click on it. You can actually get all this information, and then hit that quote button or get more information and talk to my man right here.
I will actually call you. No doubt.
This guy walks around just talking to people all day long, man. Yeah, I used to talk to him. I'm surprised he even came back to the podcast. You know what I mean?
He's got me in a hole back there now. I don't get to do this anymore, and I love this. I love seeing these two guys.
Super good. So, you guys on Wednesday, what do you guys? Let's give some love to SolidWorks. Mm-hmm. Can you just explain what you guys are doing here on Wednesday, and then basically what it is and what's going on down here in Dallas?
Yeah, so we came down to Dallas for the 3D SolidWorks experience,
nice.
The World Conference. We're going to be presenting on Wednesday on CNC Expert and how we're using it in our classroom with SolidWorks.
Wonderful.
Super good, man.
Wonderful.
Super good. So like anybody who's interested in teaching CNC Expert well, that's the certification platform, but like CNC Expert and our academy and parts and all that, then you guys are just going to explain everything.
Yep, we're going to start from the beginning, explain what credentials are, explain, his process that they went through with machine tool. We're actually doing the same thing right now with mechanical drafting.
Is that something
awesome.
that they will record and you'll have available for maybe people that want to reach out that aren't able to attend? It's a live feed at all that people might be able to bring?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. That would be a great thing.
And definitely people can reach out to either one of us, and we can definitely share. And
that's awesome.
There's
we can probably put your guys' link down in the comment section. Not the comments, but like down in the description and stuff. And how else, like, besides giving you guys the curriculum, and I think like any machine shops that are just around or in Michigan, they should be reaching out to you guys to like lend support, because you guys are doing it big, man.
And that's one thing that I would like to say is, if your industry and you're seeing, the curriculum and the Titans of CNC Academy, that's what you value as industry. Talk to your schools. Our programs both have advisory committees, and the schools will listen to advisory boards and committees. So if you have industry members saying, hey, we want you to use this curriculum, we want you to learn these skills, use this software, etc., that's where change happens. Industry saying, hey, we want students to know this. And
that's why my program uses SolidWorks. There's other programs around the state. They're using, Autodesk, their Inventor, whatever, Fusion. But we're using SolidWorks because that's what industry in our area wants.
Right. And I'm using Mastercam in our area because of that.
Is what they're asking for.
And there's even some industry that are seeing the students and what they're trained to, and saying, man, maybe we need to switch to Mastercam, because if I want to have employees coming in and who are trained, we'll switch to Mastercam. So
Mastercam still is industry standard. It has been forever. It's a great platform.
Most users in the world.
Great platform. And you're right. There's heads of industry out there that get it, or maybe they haven't upgraded. Maybe they are using older technology or older software. It's not crazy expensive. If you're buying a machine, bundle a new package of software into the machine and get up to date on some of this stuff, because you're right. The kids are learning it in school, so if you are going to hire somebody, that's what they're going to be taught on, and that's what they're going to be able to come into your shop and understand how to run. Yeah, it's great. Super good.
Thank you to all the partners for partnering with you and providing this education. It's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you guys for all that you guys do.
Yeah.
Man.
Huge.
You guys, like, literally, it's not like a 8 to 5 for you guys. You guys dedicate your lives to the kids and to teaching the trade, and we need more people like you, and super good, man.
We do. 100% agreed.
Michigan has amazing teachers, and each one of them are awesome and getting after it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Love it.
Good.
Keep spreading it. Keep spreading the word.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for helping make this country great, and that's it.
Teaching the next gen.
Boom.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Buren Tech in the house.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh, man. Appreciate
you.
you, man. Thanks for coming down to Texas, Gabe. As always, thank you very much, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for everything you've done.
Yeah. You're welcome, man. My pleasure. If we do it and nobody actually teaches it, then that sucks, So I just, I love that you're out there just talking to all the teachers and let them know how to do it and stuff. And
this guy doesn't take lunch breaks. His lunch break is he's always on the call with somebody.
Wow. Good stuff. And that's kind of how it has to be, You sometimes your hours are dependent upon who wants to talk to you. Okay, I'll take this call.
I feel like he's talking to me right now. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of fun, like reaching out. I mean,
yes.
Talk to teachers in Mississippi or Utah.
Yeah,
I mean, just all over. It's great.
I agree with you. Yeah, you get a little bit of that salesman in you. I see it.
I feel the same way about him that you feel about Keith. I'll go talk to him. It's like, oh, sorry, he's on the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Oh, it's good stuff.
Cool. Well, thank you guys very much,
awesome.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Great job.
Boom.